Hello friends, today we discuss Coulomb law. Coulomb's law. What is Coulomb law? First, we know about Coulomb law. Here we take Q1, Q2 and distance between them is R. Q1 represent charge first and Q2 represent charge second. Scientists performed many experiments and found that force on 1 due to 2 equal to force on 2 due to 1, which is directly proportional to Q1 Q2 and inversely proportional to R square, which is distance between two charges. So force directly proportional Q1 Q2 inversely proportional R square. But when scientists performed many experiments and found that experimental force is not equal to calculated force, they performed many experiments and found constant which is proportional constant, which is represented by K. K is proportional constant. Proportional constant, when scientists and then force equal to K Q1 Q2 divided by R square. Then by this scientists found experimental force is equal to calculated force. So we can found force between two charges by this formula. What is K? What is the value of K? K is proportional constant and his value equal to 9 into 10 to power 9 for year. Discuss more about electrostatic force, which is F, which is represented by F. It is electrostatic force. Electrostatic force. It is conservative. Conservative force. As in this formula, force inversely proportional to R square means it follows inverse square law. Inverse square law. It is long range. And central force. Electrostatic force may be attractive or repulsive. Attractive is when different nature of charge. Nature of charge. And repulsive is when same nature of charge. And force, which is electrostatic force K Q1 Q2 divided by R square. It depend on medium. Depends on medium and mediated by by photon, as it depend on medium. How it depend on medium? We can put this F equal to K Q1 Q2 divided by R per square, as K equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught for air, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 divided by R square. By this, we can prove that it depends on medium. It is This formula is valid to calculate force between two charges in air. Now, when two charge particle is taken in any medium, how we can calculate force between them? We can calculate force between them by this formula: F equal to Q1 Q2 divided by 4 pi epsilon m r square. Epsilon m is epsilon m is permittivity of medium. Permittivity of medium. We know more about permittivity in the next video. And here epsilon naught is permittivity of air. When we simplify this, we can also write F equal to Q1 Q2 4 pi epsilon naught epsilon r plus square, as epsilon m equal to epsilon naught epsilon r. From this, we can write epsilon m equal to epsilon naught epsilon r. Now, we discuss about some question. For question, we know about superposition theorem. What is superposition theorem? Superposition theorem said that force between two charges does not depend on third charge or any other charge, and net electrostatic force net electrostatic force is vector sum of vector sum of all the force on that charge. Here we take one example to prove these two sentences. First, here Q1, Q2 and Q3. We want to calculate the force between Q1 and Q2. So force between Q1 and Q2 equal to K Q1 Q2 divided by R square. It does not depend on third charge.